Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez.
From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. This feels a little bit rushed. Was there silence there for a second? If there was, think of it as your moment of meditation, just to take a breath, just to clear your head a little bit. I'm a little bit amped because I just did 2 hours for Minneapolis, St. Paul. I was filling in for Matt McNeil on the Matt McNeil Show, and it was weird because it's weird to have like one show going on. You know, Jones on the air. I'm in a different studio, trying to catch up on all things Minneapolis, St. Paul, and of course, a lot of the stories going on there we're familiar with. We had Rob Held, who is, of course, a regular on my show and Jonas Pizzito's show. You may know him from social media. He is the local attorney who has been showing up at detention centers and protesting and trying to advocate for people who are being having their civil rights violated. And he has been arrested several times, really for the mere act of protesting, really in situations where they cause sort of these interactions where they can say, "Oh, you hit me with your bullhorn," and you can see the video where he barely this law enforcement agent like stands up and bumps into the bullhorn. At any rate, we talked to him about Renee Good, Alex Preddy, Miramar Martinez, who was shot 5 times here, Silverio Gonzalez, who was murdered here in Chicago. So that show is available on KTNF's website. So it was an honor to talk to Robin. Of course, we'll have him on again soon. I talked to John Fugelsang. Really great conversations with our neighbors in Minnesota. And speaking of neighbors, I have one of my neighbors in studio, Merril Miller, who is the manager of the Jefferson Park Sunday Market. I mentioned the markets in Minneapolis and that people should get out this weekend. How are you doing, Merril?
I'm doing okay.
Are you doing okay? Are you staying hydrated? I don't have my cup.
You see the water bottle.
Exactly. I have my little cup going right here. Got the
Awesome.
my ice cubes. Merril, I do, when I started working with the Sunday Market back in 2019, like it was, I've told you, because I was running for office, I didn't want to come with the presumption of now I'm going to like capitalize on the fact that there's a crowd here. And I felt like I should put my time in. And I fell in love with working with everybody and being a part of the market. Tell us a little bit, first of all, how long have you been working at the Jefferson Park Sunday Market?
Since 2011, when we started.
I feel like maybe I shouldn't ask you so you don't think about how long it's been.
Well, and to be fair, it's not like I was manager that first season.
Right.
So somebody else, Dana, started off the first year for us, and then because of some family life stuff, she had to take a step back. And I was the silly person who didn't step back when everybody else did. And so here I am, however many years it is later.
Last woman standing.
Something like that.
And I saw a message in our group chat that we have possibly another volunteer. We've gained one volunteer recently, and it sounds like somebody else is coming this Sunday.
There's actually a couple others that are on the list. One wasn't available for a while, and the other, I guess, is going to be joining us on Sunday. And I actually had a phone call from somebody earlier this afternoon that needs service hours.
Okay.
So that's going to be interesting.
Well, tell folks if they want to volunteer and they have a need for service hour completion, how do they get involved?
Well, reach out to us in some form or fashion if you want to show up on Sunday. But you got to do a little bit of time and help us out with some stuff. None of it's hard, and it definitely gets easier. As one of my friends like to say, many hands make light work, and it can be very fun, as you've found out, getting to meet neighbors and as Patty rearranges the sign on the wall.
Okay.
But
they're giving me direction in the producer's booth. Yeah, it is fun. I love doing it. I really do enjoy it, and I think part of it, it's the volunteers, it's the neighbors showing up, and I mean the amount of energy and work, resources that the vendors bring. I mean, whether it's making food, they're like,
oh my gosh, yeah,
right? I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a whole production for everybody. And I appreciate how invested they are and how much they want to be there. This isn't what they all have to do. I know for some, it's a means to an end, and farmers markets are either a great way to get your product out there, to grow, all those elements. But this is a labor of love for everybody, it seems.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And I mean, as you know from Jackie and Patty, your sponsors of Pride Roasters, that, it literally started off as a fun hobby for them and has migrated into more and more every day of a business.
Yeah.
To the point of Jackie was actually talking about maybe doing some work with another one of our vendors as she plans to open up a storefront. I don't know where that is currently.
Oh,
right.
lovely.
Yeah.
That's very
so
cool. I
I
love
won't
that.
say any more than that until, the ink is dried or something is more final. But yeah, I mean, it's getting to see those collaborations and the community that happens, that it just really makes it worthwhile. And I mean, from 2020, when we all pulled together to make sure these same vendors, many of these same vendors, actually had a way to sell their product, because a lot of these vendors, they don't have a storefront or whatever to be able to sell, or the infrastructure to be able to do shipping necessarily if there's no farmers market. So in 2020, when there wasn't, because of COVID, and there was a system, and we managed to pull together with our other neighbor markets and create a system that these vendors could have a way to continue to sell.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this. I actually, during my conversation with our neighbors in Minnesota, I was thinking about, because in addition to the marketing, I was doing that little, Wednesday, neighbor coffee with neighbor Patti, to
Right.
highlight local businesses and folks in the community who are doing the kind of work that you are. And I was actually kind of thinking about how many restaurants. I mean, I went into debt eating out, and also into larger clothing that I'm still trying to figure out. I'm like, I'm still carrying around my COVID-19. But some of those businesses did not make it. Some of my favorite places, North Branch Chicken, Fanny's, just to name a couple. George Carr's has turned over the keys to the Gale Street Inn. It's hard.
Yeah. And honestly, I think with each of those businesses, there was other factors.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily a COVID thing, but
It's challenging.
And it's challenging no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, I think with Gale Street Inn, that had just been, it was time for George to move on. And because he didn't, he still had the love of the business, but was a little burned out. I think.
Well, and I think it was also this energy online. What had to be. I mean, he was getting body blow after body blow after he came out. Said he supported Brandon Johnson, Mayor Johnson, when he wanted. The protocols that he had to keep everybody safe. People resented. They resented that he believed in science.
Yeah, which is really unfortunate, because you need that.
Yeah,
we
need science and safety and all those things. At any rate, that was just something I was thinking about. Was I think have we lost any? I mean, I feel like we've got almost all of our vendors, maybe except for T Dogs is the only one that I remember that we don't. The hot sauce. Isn't T Dog? Wasn't it T Dog hot sauce, the one that was in the flask bottles?
Yeah. So he.
He's in other markets?
He's not at the markets because of life stuff.
Gotcha.
At least last I heard. So,
but I mean, for the most part, it seems like we have almost everybody through the markets.
Plus a few new ones.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely a few new ones, which is exciting.
Yeah.
And some that have gone on to get storefronts. You mentioned that Sfera has now a storefront, which I first came across. And that's the other thing, too, is, sometimes they're market vendors, and maybe they're online vendors, right? Like Spice Girls is freaking amazing.
Yes.
Love their sauces. And some go on to, they grow. Taste of Philippines was also one of our vendors.
And now has a storefront.
Yeah. So it's kind of exciting to see that growth, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And especially when it's back in the community. I mean, I love Sfera. In fact, it's funny because I was supposed to be meeting a friend there for lunch today, and they were, bless their hearts, so busy that there wasn't room inside for us. And with the rain, it was like the outdoor seating did not appeal. So we found a lovely Ethiopian place down the street. I'll have to get back to Sfera at some other time. But
what Ethiopian restaurant? Because I used to in the 80s. I loved Mama Desta's Under the Sea, which was on Clark, and that's been
Red Sea.
Mama Desta's Red Sea.
Yeah.
And it's been long gone.
Yeah. That was actually the first Ethiopian I'd ever had.
Me too. Because they were at Taste of Chicago. So I was like, well, I want to have more of this in the 80s. Yeah, they were at Taste of Chicago. So I was super excited.
I don't remember them being at Taste of Chicago because I actually went to their Clark Street. Yeah.
it was so good.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite places.
Gosh, yeah.
So I have to find some new Ethiopia. Although it sounds, when I checked, they're all in the same area. I think all the Ethiopian restaurants seem to be in the same community.
This one was on Broadway, basically across the street from Sfera.
Yeah.
So if you look them up, you can find, I can't remember what the name is, so sadly.
That's all right. So we are in studio with Merril Miller. She is the manager of the Jefferson Park Sunday Market, and we are in the park every second and fourth Sunday of the month. I am missing this weekend. I will be at the Pride Parade. I'm getting up super early because we have a lot of great sponsors, and I want to make sure I'm available for whatever they might need. So I'm going to miss the market this weekend, and I'm so sorry.
Well, it happens. Thankfully, as you mentioned, we've got some other volunteers coming on board. So,
Excellent.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and it's gonna be
you'll be missed regardless. But
rolling in late. What? I think the weather's supposed to be warm this weekend. Is that what I'm saying? How far out do you start looking at the weather? Like do you do 10-day?
I learned. Well, sometimes I look at it early in the week, but the last couple of years, I've started to get to the point of the day before they've got it figured out, and it's usually right. Anytime before that, not so much.
Okay. Well, this has been I just saw this thing about how, we have had over 200 tornadoes since 2015, which apparently breaks records for Illinois. And Peter Sorellis from Source Solar was just telling me yesterday that I had not heard about how we have had record-breaking size of hail.
Really?
Yeah, in some areas.
I missed that part of yesterday's show. Because I listened to a good chunk of it, but that one anyway.
I just feel like it's been chaotic, to say that. I mean, we've had some very dramatic weather at some of our markets too.
Oh yeah, was it 2 years ago when
rain?
we had the geysers out of the sewers? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, for folks who don't remember, just a couple of years ago, on the northwest side, the man covers were being blown up off the street by this massive amount of water that was falling.
And worse further east, where it was actually feet into the air. I just saw it, a little bit up into the air. Of course, now, mind you, at the time, I was literally holding up one of the vendor tents as it was collapsing due to the rain that had collected in the awning, but that's a whole other story.
I want to tell you folks, Merril Miller is a volunteer manager, as all the volunteers, but there's no hazard pay for her. I have been in windy situations. I remember the first time I saw, I was like, oh, this could be dangerous. Was Stamper's cheese tent was being blown around. Remember when we were at the Irish American Heritage Center? Oh yeah, and that collapsed, and the frame was all bent. And then we had just another one recently at the Copernicus Center with the winds that just kicked up out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. That was challenging. You go through a lot. I hope that you take care of yourself. I
try.
I know.
I try.
It's challenging.
I have learned that when people offer help, accept it.
Yes. That's a good thing to do. We are hanging out with Merril Miller. She is the manager of the Jefferson Park Sunday Market. We'll be at the Jefferson Park Park proper on Lawrence near Long. Lawrence, like Higgins and Lawrence and all that confluence of streets, right across the street from the Jefferson Park Library and Post Office. And again, that starts at 9:30 to 1:30. And we've got a lot to talk about, all the vendors. In just a moment, we want to thank our sponsors, Pride Coffee Roasters, as we mentioned. Pride Coffee Roasters is sponsoring the WCPT Pride Parade Float. We are Pride Parade Float entry number 64. We'll be rolling down the parade route. You can catch the live broadcast from Scott Duff, Ellen Miller, Ken Mihabil will be joining them as one of their guest co-hosts as well. And again, the broadcast will be starting at 11. The parade kicks off at 11 o'clock. We want to thank Pride Coffee Roasters, Illinois Veterans for Change, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, Berman, Kia, and Subaru, Social Change. We've got our friends from Rep Chai, also a sponsor of the
I thought I heard you talking about
Chicago.
them. That's awesome.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of great representation for our Pride. And Chicago Community Acupuncture. Thank you so much, Dr. Jason Bassell. Chico Maku. I love their commercials. More in a moment on WCPT 820, Heartland Signal, and KKNW 1150. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm so out of sorts. Here we go.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or
Pete.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now.
All right, let's hit it.
At 773-763-9278.
I got a lot to say.
It's Driving It Home with Patti
I mean, if you want to call, you could. Right now, I am hanging out with Merril Miller. She is, sorry, Lady B. I hit the wrong button. I'll be honest with you, but I can't put an invitation like, I'm like, kill that one. No, I mean, take off that. Yeah, sorry, everybody. I'm in studio with Merril Miller. She's the manager of the Jefferson Park Sunday Market, and we are so thrilled to have her in studio. It's always my honor to join you every second and fourth Sunday of the month. And this weekend will be a lot of fun. The last event was great. That was really...
Yeah. Last the opening for the season, we had not only the market, but the park also hosted the park orchestra. I forget what the full title is. Do you remember what their full title is?
Oh, the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, wasn't it? Wasn't it the CY? Yeah, what is it called?
Right, yeah. That's where I'm at,
CSO?
too.
Wasn't it the CSO?
Not the CSO. It's the community one.
Well, they often perform with the park districts. And
yeah, it's been a tradition the last, I don't know how many years, actually, that they do a performance. I don't know that it's always coordinated with the market, but now it does, and here we are. But then we also had the Flag Day
the parade.
Yeah. So that was fun.
It was a lovely day,
yeah.
And it was great to see everybody. And I can't wait to come back in July because I won't be there this weekend. But for folks who are coming out, again, 9:30 to 1:30, right there at Jefferson Park, located at Lawrence and Long, across from the Jefferson Park Post Office and Public Library. And I know, what do you want to start with? What do you want to dazzle folks with the wonderful vendors, performers, and artists, and all kinds of things?
All kinds of things. Okay, well, so for performers, we have Tim Barnard is going to be on our main stage area, which is the Esther House porch. For those of you who know the area, Esther House is a little old farmhouse that has been used for years and years for various things within the park, and it's still part of the park. It's even in the last couple of years gotten upgraded to being ADA compliant in hopes that we finally got somebody in there to like have a coffee shop or something. That hasn't quite happened yet, but we get to use the porch for our performers. We've also got at the north end of the park, since we're using up so much of the park, we get to have two performers, and the other one is Stephen Goyes, who's joined us in studio at least once.
Yep.
And then another thing I'd like to mention is that as has become our tradition, we've got Wildlight Studio, yoga studio, joining us, providing a nearly first thing in the morning class. They have shifted time start for the class to 10 a.m.
Okay.
And so that's going to be also at the north end of the park area. So that's the Higgins entrance side. Not to be confused with the Long Avenue side, which is just off of Lawrence.
It's
just
kind
a
of a triangle.
It
is a bit challenging because you've got Higgins and what's that?
It's absolutely a triangle.
Yeah.
It is absolutely a triangle.
Yeah, so you'll find it. You'll see the park if you're
or if you're looking for the exact address, that's 4822 North Long.
Excellent. Appreciate that.
It's actually right there.
And folks should bring their own yoga mat. Also register so we know you're coming.
Yeah, if you go to our website, you can just click on the date to get to the registration for a particular date.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
So got your yoga, so you can do your yoga and then maybe order some tamales or perhaps something from Urban Dining.
I love their sliders. Oh, my gosh.
They didn't have shrimp last time, can I tell you? I'm looking forward to the next time, but still. It was amazing.
Yeah, well, sometimes supply stuff happens,
Exactly.
or you didn't get there early enough.
That
is
part.
probably
Yeah, that's more likely.
Yeah, speaking of which, one of our newer vendors, although she's been with us this is her second summer with us now, Jean's Curious Crackers. So for any of our vegan friends, or I mean, a vegan, that's the other vendor, for any of our folks that need gluten-free options, this is a cracker option that's like just seeds, basically. Mm-hmm. And they are so good that whenever I have friends over and have these crackers out, I basically convert them all to wanting to be gluten-free eaters because they love these crackers so much.
They're great.
But you got to get there early enough that she doesn't sell out. She can only produce so much. And she produces as much as she possibly can, but she often sells out.
She does, yeah. And it was funny because we have a neighborhood, actually one of the people that helped save Escher House, Lionel, he bought like 4 bags. I was standing there and I was
Did he really?
Yeah, he did. I was like, sorry, everybody, sorry. Because I told him how good they were. And because I think they're fantastic. She had one last time that was a little bit, had like almost a lime. I think she called it like a margarita seasoning. It was really good.
Yeah, it's funny because I wouldn't have described it as that, but it is so good. And there's like so many nice flavor notes to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, so tell us a little bit more about, let's see, we've got the crackers, we got there's olive oil and bread. Are they teaming up? Did we find out?
I hope so. I haven't confirmed yet.
Yeah.
But when I saw the olive oil lady at the Portage Park Market, because I try and support our other markets too.
Same.
She hadn't talked to Nick yet, but was going to do it the next day. So trusting that happened.
Okay, good.
But anyway, they're next to each other anyway. And so if you need either one, that's going to be like smack in the middle of the park, right behind the field houses where they live, or as far as their spots. But I did mention about vegan stuff. Only out for a few dates, but we've got Molly's vegan egg rolls, using the air quotes here because there's no egg in them, but they're still that nice crunchy because it's the kind of egg roll type wrap. I mean, egg roll name comes from the eggs that's usually inside, but not in this case. It's all veggie and very good. I mean,
they're super tasty.
Yeah, there's another case of it doesn't matter what your food interest is unless you hate vegetables or something. You're probably going to like these because they're so good. But they're sold frozen, ready to take home and eat. Best if you can do them in an air fryer.
That sounds fantastic. Yeah. Looking forward to that.
Oh, because you get the nice crispy and all that. So.
I love that last time we were there, Semper's Cheese had like a chart so you could see like all the different cheeses that they had. Because otherwise you kind of stand there and go, then there's four, so like, what's that? What's that? What's that?
Right, yeah. And there's so many great cheeses.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, one of my go-tos is, my husband always makes sure he gets me cheese curds and cheese sticks, but because those are nice, like, weekday snacks and you need a little protein. Right. There you go. But now if I'm so we should be starting to see tomatoes and stuff. So if you wanted to do your, what's the Italian salad thing with the tomatoes and basil
Caprese?
And thank you. And fresh mozzarella is the next thing in that list. That is one of my loves. And, I guess some of the bread from Artisan Bread is the bread company that we were talking about.
We're making people hungry. Our friends.
I hope so, because we want them to come out and shop. And, I know we're talking about super big time, very local, but there's loads of farmers markets around the city. If you go to City of Chicago website, there's a link where you can find a listing of the Chicago area farmers markets. And, if you're a little more outlying, find a vendor off of one of the market pages that you like, and they usually have their own website and listing of where they're at. So that can help you out because all of the surrounding communities have their own farmers markets. I mean, one of the markets I originally fell in love with was Arlington Heights because I was commuting out there to see my husband and before we actually got married. They've got a fantastic farmers market out there.
Park Ridge too. I used to, that was my first, I used to live in Lincoln Square and I would go there, but mostly Park Ridge because it was always fun for the kids too. I always wanted my boys to sort of have that experience as well. Yeah. Well, everyone can have that experience this Sunday. Again, that's going to be at Jefferson Memorial Park, which is located at 4822. That's 4822 North Long. And you get more information at jeffersonparksundaymarket.com. That's jeffersonparksundaymarket.com. And follow us on all your social media platforms. It's Merril Miller. And folks, if you want to volunteer, if you have some service hours you need to complete, we're a great place to hang out. And I will not be there this weekend, but all the great volunteers, all the great vendors. It's going to be a warm day, so bring your water bottles with you. Yep. And enjoy yourself. Oh, and the tea lady. We meet the tea lady and Bee Savers. And I know she's not a tea
local
lady,
honey. Yeah. So folks that have allergies, come and check out the honey from City Bee Savers because it is like I could point you to hives in the neighborhood. That's how local it is. And that's the kind of stuff that's going to help, kind of calm down some of those pollen-related allergies.
Excellent. Well, Merril, I won't see you on Sunday, but maybe we'll tip one back sometime before the next market. Otherwise, I will see you there. Second and fourth Sundays of the month. Everyone, check out your farmers market in your area. Coming up next, we're going to talk to the Vice President of Commuter and Passenger Services for the Brotherhood of Railroad Signalmen. Tim Tarrant is going to join us in just a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150. We're so glad you're all here.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Just bold ideas and real talk. This is Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
I believe I just served you another moment of meditation. This is what happens when you do 4 hours of radio back to back to back. You lose track of time. I was saying goodbye to Merril and saying hello to my next guest. So you'll pardon me for that moment of silence. I hope you use it in a very productive way. Look, every single day a freight train rolls through someone's backyard, through all of our communities, past the platform where you're standing on the metro, coffee in hand, just trying to get to work. And we don't often think about the people who are keeping you safe. Their whole job is watching the broken things that might happen before we're the next East Palestine. And Washington wants fewer of them looking out for us. In December, Trump's transportation department signed off on a waiver. The railroads asked for it, and they got it. They can now cut their visual track inspections in half. Twice a week becomes once a week. A camera bolted to a train is supposed to make up the difference. These companies call it modernization. The people who walk the walk call it, I believe, something else. I'm going to guess. My next guest is one of them, Tim Tarrant. Am I saying it right now?
Yes, you got it right.
I got it right this time. All right, Tim Tarrant, Vice President of Commuter and Passenger Services for the Brotherhood of Railroad Signalmen. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Well, thank you, Patty. Very excited to be here.
Yeah, we've talked quite a bit in the past about safety, the kind of work that you do. We've had bad moments in our history. I'm sure that with the work you've done, you've looked back and like, where have we come from? Where are we going? Where would you put this on the scale of what railroad signalmen have been through before?
Well, with what's going on now and the recent deregulation efforts, it's very serious. You had mentioned the human track inspections and the waiver that was granted, which it's a different union. That's the maintenance of way workers.
Okay.
And they fought hard to try and push back on that, but the waiver was granted. I wish that we were exempt from it, especially with the work that we do with highway rail grade crossings and with the signal systems. But unfortunately, I believe we're next, with the Federal Railroad Administration trying to roll back our regulations, which is really, really serious and really, really dangerous.
And all just comes down to profit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like, the big part of this country's history really is built in large part by our railroad system. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been around for a pretty long time. We have our own set of labor laws, the Railway Labor Act, which kind of it's difficult to explain and go through. That's not enough time in the show to do that. But it was the reason why it took so long to get a settlement up in New York, which we talked about last time when I was up here, and we can get into that if you want to a little bit more now that it's ratified. But the essentially the changes or what they're proposing in regulations is really dangerous. For example, a road crossing, like a highway rail road crossing, there is 38 different federal tests that have to be done on that, throughout the period of 1 year. There's monthly tests that have to be done, meaning that a person has to come out and take a look at these specific things once a month, whether it's making sure the lights are pointed in the right direction, that they're not burned out, making sure that the gates are actually covering the road that they're supposed to cover, all the way up to making sure that that system's functioning properly. And there's quarterly tests that have to be done to ensure that, when a train actually goes over it, it does what it's supposed to do, and annual tests, which are even more so than that, to make sure everything works right on those. What they're proposing on doing is using AI, which we talked about a little last time we were on, and cameras and technology to replace that highly trained, journey person's eye. And it's not going to end well if that happens like that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, first you mentioned this case. Was it a settlement you mentioned?
In New York?
In New York,
yes. Yeah, that was the strike that we did. Yeah, when I was on last time, we talked about it a little bit, but I didn't want to get into what the particulars were because we hadn't ratified the agreement yet, and we hadn't been approved by the MTA, which is the board that approves Long Island Railroad contracts. But essentially, without getting too much into how bargaining works in railroads, they have these things called patterns. And if a pattern is set, you usually can't negotiate outside of it. There's been a bunch of these Presidential Emergency Board Awards and all these different things that settle that. So we tried to negotiate a year out of that. And what we tried to do was add, the 3-year contract was a 9.5%, general wage increases over the period of 3 years. We wanted to get a 4th year that we had it in like a backloaded 4th year, and we were just asking for 4.5%, which would basically cover inflation in New York. It was a break-even agreement. It wasn't one that we should have had to shut the city down for 3 days to get.
Yeah.
But that's what you're up against a lot of times, is trying to just fight, to maintain the status quo. It was by no means like a get-rich or windfall agreement for any of the workers, but it was a win, and it proved that if you stick together and you fight, you can actually win. And so that's what we did. That agreement was just approved by the MTA board on Tuesday. I believe it was Tuesday. So
when it comes to striking, I mean, I've talked to other labor leaders about, folks have this idea of a general strike, which I'm now understanding better because we don't talk about labor history. I think Illinois, I don't know if they passed the legislation, but to make labor history part of the curriculum. And I think that would be important across the country because I think we lose sight of what happened in the wake of Ronald Reagan's presidency and the laws and even before that, laws against union striking, having a general strike. It's illegal.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes. It's illegal in New York for commuters to strike under the Taylor Law. But fortunately, we were under that Railway Labor Act. And so that was one of the big fighting points when we were arguing through this process called the Presidential Emergency Board. We won, not one, but two of them, saying that we had the right to bargain and that we should have, enough of a general wage increase to keep up with inflation.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And so go ahead. I mean, there's a lot of risk to making sure that you have the right to strike. People don't realize what the cost that comes at, right?
No, they don't. And if you really want to talk about history that they're probably not teaching about, I mean, obviously the Haymarket in Chicago that everybody knows about, not a whole lot of people really understood that the people they thought were responsible for that were executed. Their punishment after getting arrested was execution. Some people were murdered in jail. They don't talk about the Copper County strike in Colorado where they burned 25 women and children. It strikes me that one does because it was a Greek encampment. My wife is Greek Orthodox, and they a very long story short, they called a truce with this Greek colony that was out there. I guess it would be like a colony of striking workers. They called a truce on Easter Sunday morning because Greek Orthodox Easter is the biggest holiday of the year for Greek people. They brought their leader out. His name was Louis Tikas and two of his top lieutenants. They executed him on the spot. It was at the time the mine company had hired strike breakers to come in and do that. They fired a machine gun up until all the workers ran out of ammunition. They went up into the hills. They left their families back in the tents thinking they would be safe. And they came down and they doused them with kerosene and they burned them alive. And people don't understand that people lost their family members. Horrible ways. They fought, they bled, they died for the right for us to even have a union, let alone the right to be able to strike. And I really wish they would teach that in more places.
Yeah, if I had learned it, it fell out of my head. Yeah. Because it really isn't taught. We kind of get this sort of, generalities. We learn about the wars and things like that. Never really they don't want us to know in large part about what has been fought for.
It was, I think I misspoke. It was the Ludlow Massacre was what that was called. Yes.
Okay, that one sounds familiar.
And then they had the Italian Hall tragedy in Michigan where they during a Christmas party for striking mine workers, somebody came in and yelled fire, and in the pandemonium, 70-some people got killed. It was over 50 children got trampled to death on Christmas Eve at a Christmas party.
Man,
what they were shooting for was a 40-hour work week.
And that right there, what we know as our now expectation of what a work week should look like. We talk about 40-hour work week was earned, fought for, bled for by union, by labor,
and their families and their children.
Yeah. And whether it's labor protections, safety at work. And it's interesting because we're at the point now where we're supposed to feel grateful that we have a job. I've heard people say that to me. Just be happy you have a job.
I hate the G word. I hear that all the time. You should be grateful you're working.
You should be grateful that you're working. Again, we're talking to Tim Tarrant, who is the vice president of the commuter and passenger right? This is I have all this right. Commuter and passenger services for the Brotherhood of Railroad Signalmen. Now, are you where are you located out of?
I am. My headquarters is in Front Royal, Virginia, but I'm indigenous to the Chicagoland area. This is where I grew up at. This is where I'm from, and I moved out in 2011 and took the job as what I would call the very lowest end of working nationally for labor, which meant making the coffee, cleaning up the parking lot, and doing basically whatever they told me to do. And I worked my way up, and so now I'm our national vice president that handles our passengers and commuters. So it's very honored to be able to be in the fight.
So are you back in Chicago, or are you still in?
No, I live in Virginia now.
That's what I thought.
Yes, we moved. My very Greek-Irish family moved out to Virginia. You can appreciate what that's like if you move away from people. It was very tough. But we moved out in 2011 after. I think we talked about this last time. After I had a cancer scare. Well, it wasn't a scare. It was cancer.
Sure.
I wasn't supposed to be here, but I'm still kicking, and I just thought that I should be doing something besides fixing stuff for Metro.
So what brings you through town?
Pardon me?
What brings you to Chicago?
Oh, I was in town for a retirement party, or a retirement gathering, and then I was here, and I said, you know what, maybe I can see if Patti Vasquez isn't busy, and here I am. So, but yeah, I came in for the retirement, and
well, so now, I don't know if you listened to the show or why you ordered. So last week, Tim sent us pizza for the station and wonderful appetizers as well. The whole kit and caboodle. Were you listening to the show? Because I actually mentioned the place that you ordered pizza from, which is Phil's Pizza Duo. That's a pizza joint I've been eating at since I was 5 years old. Yeah. So I was just like, what? It was such a wonderful treat. Thank you.
Well, that's okay. And yes, I do listen to the show.
You don't have to say you do.
No, I do. I travel a lot. I mean, a lot. That's probably why I'm still married. I'm gone 250 to 300 days a year. And my wife's actually out of the country right now, so I think I can get away with this. But I do listen when I can, and I happened to have it on the day before, and I actually asked Jerry Wolski. I said I wanted to do this the first time I was on about a year ago, and he said he had mentioned it. I said she mentioned which place it was on the show, and that's happened to be the only one that was open at the time I sent it.
So funny. Oh, well, it was very kind of you. And I'll talk about the treats that you brought me in a little bit, too. Thank you for it.
Oh, that's okay.
I don't know if you know this, but I have an affinity for a couple, 2, 3 baseball caps. Now and then. Again, Tim Tarrant is the Vice President of Commuter and Passenger Services for the Brotherhood of Railroad Signalmen. Lady B, we can open the phone lines if we want a little bit here, too, because I don't know if we'll have a chance. If anyone wants to join the conversation, if there's news on your mind, and more importantly, if you want to share your thoughts about labor and the hard-earned rights that they have earned for us, please give us a call or text us at 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-9278. You know what? I'm going to take a question when we come back for our guest. Again, Tim Tarrant is in studio with me. More in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 and KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Oh, that's later. But you know what I mean. And everyone tuning in digitally. We're all so happy that you're here.
Because facts matter. You are listening to WCPT 820.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now.
All right, let's hit it.
At 773-763-9278.
I got a lot to say.
It's Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation here on Driving It Home. I'm your host, Patti Vasquez. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Of course, we're broadcasting on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal here in Chicago. And we have our friends tuning in on KKNW 1150 in Seattle, and all of our friends joining us on Facebook and YouTube. If you are on our digital platforms, please consider subscribing to our pages and sharing with your friends so they can join the conversation too. Also, we have our text line open, 773-763-9278. And we are in studio with the Vice President of Commuter and Passenger Services for the Brotherhood of Railroad Signalmen, Tim Tarrant. Tim, we have one comment. I'm going to start with the text screen because they came in first. I take your calls in the order they were received. This listener asks, Patti, the Greek people getting killed is horrible. They're asking about the teaching about the Pullman porters, which I think a lot of labor unions do. And of course, with the railroad, we imagine African Americans that were integral to us having unions today. I'm a 35-year union guy, and the Pullman porter history is often ignored and needs to be known.
100% agree. The Pullman strike was pivotal in rail labor. But there's the Great Rail Strike that happened before that, the Pullman strike, Haymarket. The Battle of Blair Mountain, which was in West Virginia, which was the largest, they called it the largest insurrection in United States history besides the Civil War, where our country actually used its military on its own citizens. It's the history that we have in this country that nobody really understands or appreciates. How we got to where we are today really needs to be taught so that we can learn the lessons and not have to go down the same road again. It took 100 years to get the 8-hour workday.
Oh my God! When you think about that, it just seems like we do take it for granted. You said one of the words you hate is you should be grateful that you have a job, and that's because they take labor for granted. Yeah. I was in Springfield during Governor Rauner's administration when he was trying to make Illinois a right-to-work state. Yeah. He had his turnaround agenda. He wanted to diminish bargaining rights, workman's comp, workplace safety, all of the things. And there was a Republican legislator who I was having a conversation with. I showed him the numbers, and this was over 10 years ago when because they always pointed to Indiana. We want to be like Indiana. We want the businesses to come to Illinois like they do come to Chicago and Illinois. Yeah. And I said, look at this. The executives. The highest paid executive in Indiana is making 271 times what their workers are making. And how is that, man? How is it sustainable? Like if you keep making these, whether it's tax, but all these things to benefit the wealthy, the powerful. And he said, well, a job's a job. They should be happy to have a job, was what he said to my face.
I can believe that. So, but I hear the grateful thing all the time too. I've heard it during COVID. I've heard it during all that. But at the end of the day, a company, a railroad, whatever it is, they should be grateful to have, longstanding good employees. And if you treat them right, collective bargaining really goes along with that because if you're in a collective bargaining unit, if your company's not doing good, then neither are you. You're the key to their success. And, when, as you said, when a CEO is making almost 300 times more than what their workers are, there's something wrong with that.
Yeah.
And how they use right to work is a great way that they try and divide people. Governor Walker, I forget the year, from Wisconsin, did a really great job of that, of trying to turn private unions against public sector unions, saying they're getting too much, you shouldn't have that, when the real question should have been, how come we don't have what they have? Yeah, but unfortunately, sometimes the divisive politics that they have, saying that I'm not supposed to like you because of the way that you look. I'm not supposed to like you because you're younger than me or older than me or whatever it is. It really divides us. But at the end of the day, if we could figure out those handful of things that bring us all together, which is we want to have a job, that we know is there. We want respect in the job, which is wages. We don't want to die at work. We'd like to have a safe workplace. And if we get sick, we don't want to have to die or lose our house. Just like my union negotiated health insurance saved my life. I should have been gone a long time ago. And you want to retire in dignity. And and God forbid, be able to take your family on a vacation for a week once a year, or put a kid through college. My gosh, is that really so much?
Now it is.
Yeah, well, if we focus on that, if workers, that's the one nice thing about being part of the AFL-CIO, and Liz Shuler was just reelected. I was at the convention in Minneapolis. The vision that she has about bringing all workers together, it doesn't matter what it is, because they're just going to try and blame somebody else so that they can keep us divided, when in reality, we have to stay together.
Absolutely.
When we're together, we win.
Yeah, the power's in the people.
Yes,
it really is.
100%.
We've got a listener on the line. Karen wants to join the conversation about labor. Hey, Karen, you're on with Tim Tarrant. What's on your mind?
Hi. I'm listening to what you're saying about unions, and I just wanted to bring up everything that you're saying. I don't know if you're aware of the efforts that the nurses from Endeavor. Yeah. So, you're talking about safety. You're talking about them saying to be grateful for your job. The nurses at Endeavor, they're trying to protect patients, safety of patients. That's the main reason that they're trying to get a union. And people should know that they're striking. Well, they're attempting to get a union so that you, the patient, can be safe. And it's about safety, and I just don't know if people are aware of what's going on there. We've
been featuring the nurses unions. Both we had some leaders from Texas, as well as the results of the votes here in Chicago, and I absolutely. What would you like us to do? I mean, do you have an organization that folks can turn to for up to date information about what's going on?
You can go on Facebook. You can just put in there Endeavor Strike, Endeavor Union, and you'll find out information about it. You can just Google it. It's all out there. And the problem is, what happened is Endeavor. I'm a nurse, and what happened to us is that Endeavor bought pretty much every hospital on the north side, and they became a monopoly. And so, if you are a nurse and you want to stay at the bedside, you have nowhere to go. Back in the day, we had choice. We could go, to Swedish. We could go to Skokie. So we had some say in our life. But now, the corporation has all the power, and we have no power, and they can do anything to us. They can say you're going to work on this floor for 4 hours, and then the next 4 hours you're going to go work on another floor. So there's no patient safety. There's no control for us, and it's just not good. And so you can just keep up the news. There will be more protests, and be aware. Be aware when you go in the hospital. You want that nurse to be safe. You want her to know what she's doing. And right now, as nurses, we don't have that.
I'm so sorry. And the nurses are unionizing, seeking to unionize with Teamsters Local 743. This is involving nurses across 4 of Endeavor's legacy locations: Evanston Hospital, Glenbrook Hospital, Highland Park Hospital, and Skokie Hospital. I
just want to say, I didn't catch your name.
Karen.
Karen, I just want to say, first off, thank you for the work that you do as a nurse. I lived at the University of Chicago in 2007 for a pretty long time with cancer. It was a union hospital, and no matter what their contract said, what your craft is and what you do for a living is really angel's work. So thank you for what you do. You have my 100% support. I'm going to see what what I can do to try and help out however we can in your strike. But don't give up. You actually have the power. All the nurses do. If you guys can hold together, and I'm really hoping that you can. And I support you 100%. Thank you for what you're doing. And the other part I just wanted to mention, most people don't realize that being in a union, yes, it's about negotiating a fair wage and having a safe workplace, but a lot of it is about keeping the public safe, and you're really working for the good of the general public. So thank you for what you're doing.
And that's what this union effort is about. It's not so much about the money for us. It really isn't. It really. I mean, that is an issue for us because there was a big effort. They did lower pay. They took money away from us, but that's not what this is about. It's about the safety of patients. That's what triggered this effort for the unionization. It's about patient safety.
I agree completely. I want to thank you so much for calling, Karen, and for reminding us and for encouraging us to be informed. You have a great weekend, my friend. Stay hydrated.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Tim Tarrant, I feel like we just got to see each other, and we're at the end of our segment. I'm so sad. I have to book you for like a whole hour next time. Are you coming back into town soon?
Yeah, I'll call you. I'll let you know. So
yeah, please do. What do you want to leave folks on? What are some last thoughts?
Last thoughts, I would say, are pay attention to what's going on in rail. It's railroading is one of those industries, unfortunately, that it almost seems like you have to blow up a whole town in order to get safety regulations put into place, and they're always trying to roll back. There'll be some information that's coming out when they drop this deregulation effort with signal work across the country. And when you do, we're going to ask you to reach out to your local legislators, your federal legislators, and everybody else to make sure that this doesn't happen, because it's going to be dangerous.
And how do people stay informed on any developments?
www.brs.org.
That's brs.org. Everybody, again, Tim Tarrant, the Vice President for Commuter and Passenger Services for the Brotherhood of Railroad Signalmen. My mom helped write the program, so make sure you all get paid in retirement.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm getting there.
There you go. Well, thank you so much, Tim. Safe travels. And thank you for the gifts. You didn't have to bring me treats. But before you go, I just want to show people who are watching online that you brought me these fantastic, these are so cool. The Brotherhood of the Railroad Signalman AFL-CIO. Thank you. So I'm going to pass these out to my coworkers here. But first, I'm going to pick my favorite color.
Well, make sure you keep one or two for yourself. So there's other stuff in there.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Well, the bottle, I'll share, I promise. Thank you so much, Tim. Be well, and my best to your family and all of your brothers and sisters in the union.
Appreciate it.
Let's take a break here. When we come back, we're going to talk to the Cook County LGBT judges named Grand Marshals of the 55th Annual Chicago Pride Parade. More in a moment on WCPT and KKNW 1150. Thank you for being here, everybody. Let's do that.
You're listening to WCPT 820, because facts matter.
With Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez.
From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150 in Seattle, and now KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Some of you are hearing me for the second time today because KTNF heard me earlier. Hello. We want to thank our sponsors who are so generous in supporting the WCPT Pride Parade float, which we're going to talk more about in just a moment. Because joining me, this is very exciting. The Cook County LGBT judges named Grand Marshals of the 55th Annual Chicago Pride Parade are joining me in studio, and we have with us, I'm so excited, and hold on a second. I'm like, wait a minute, why is there not more information? Oh, okay, I'm like, what is happening? Because I know that folks who are coming out on Sunday are excited. They've changed the time, which also is still getting me discombobulated. It's starting earlier. Joining me in studio are Cook County Circuit Court judges Mary C. Marubio and Mike Weaver. Do I have to call you? I mean, I feel like calling you Your Honors. Hi, Your Honor.
It's not necessary, but thank you.
Your Honor. Hi, Your Honor. I'm going to have to ask you to move your microphone just towards you. There you go.
There you go.
A little bit more.
Uh-oh.
There we go. There it is. So Mike and I have known each other because one of my best friends ran your campaign. Yep. Tom Carmick, who we lost a few years ago. He absolutely adored you. I don't know if we've had enough time to talk about that. He was super proud of helping get you elected.
Yes, that was very exciting.
And how's it going so far?
Great.
Was it all worth it? Was it all you'd hoped it would be, my friend?
And more. No, I mean, driving around Cook County for a year was a lot, but it's the best job I've ever had. And so it's been really enjoyable. So it's been 4 years now, which is crazy. Time flies when you're having fun.
It really, no, so you've been on the bench for 4 years.
Since 2022, yeah.
And am I saying your name, Honor Marubio?
You are.
Oh, it's a beautiful name, by the way.
Thank you.
So you've been on the bench since 2020?
So as a circuit court judge, but I was an associate judge before that, so I'm just in my 10th year as a judge.
Oh, well, excuse us with the 10 years.
And don't ask her to explain what associate judge and circuit court judge are, because that's a whole other program.
10 years.
10 years. Fine. Well, I don't want to make our listener nervous. Jim, I don't know if you're comfortable being on the air in front of a couple judges. How are you doing, Jim?
Pretty good. But this applies. Todd Blanche finally got an Antifa thing to stick down in Texas. He put 7 defendants away for 100 years, 70 years, 50 years, and it must have delighted Trump because the whole idea was to dampen any kind of a protest against ICE. And then this decision by the Supreme Court, who's the guy, the little pipsqueak that's running this immigration outfit? Yeah. He came on last night and said, well, they won't be getting welfare. The immigrants won't be getting welfare. Now, if welfare was so great, why do we have over 500,000 homeless people in the United States? If it was such a luxurious spread, why are they walking around homeless? I mean, come on. I mean, this is absolutely absurd.
I know.
But to put these people away for this amount of time for an they had anti-fascist literature.
Jim.
Apparently.
Jim. I feel like whenever someone calls someone like us Antifa, I think we should say, "So are you Profa?" Is really all I can come up with. Jim, I've got to run because I've got a limited time with my guests today.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Thank you, Patty.
Thank you, Jim. I was telling my judges. You're my judges now. Yeah. I appreciate that. So let's talk about, first of all, I was asking about how long you've been on the bench. Your Honor, where'd you grow up, my friend?
I grew up not too far from here. I was born in Skokie.
Okay.
And then I grew up in the northern suburbs for high school and moved back to the city in 1988. I've been here ever since. Came in for college.
What drew you to law? Did you know, when was it? Were you, watching LA Law? Was it?
I did watch LA Law.
So did I. That's because we're Gen X.
Right. That's not quite it. I was really interested in civil rights, interested in women's rights, and worked at the ACLU as a law student and thought that's the direction I would be headed. Fell in love with constitutional law and found my way to criminal defense because there's a lot of constitutional law in criminal defense, and I did that for about 20 years before I decided to run.
Well, with everything that's happening and some of the things that Jim was alluding to, I mean, it has, being drawn to what the letter of the law is, what our protections are, what our rights are. You have to really be able to manage. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on somebody who's trying to make sure that somebody survives the system, right?
I think that's right. And I spent the last 8 years in our pretrial system. So I see people for the first time that they're seeing a judge. I'm that judge. And I am charged with listening to what the state has to say, what the defense has to say, and making a decision about whether that person is released or detained on that first day. And first and foremost at a judge's mind is, what is the rule of law? What does the law tell us to do? And that is what we are charged to do.
And it's such hard work, and I'm not going to ask you a lot about politics because I know I'm not supposed to because you are impartial. I just know that there's a lot that you have to process. Now, Judge Weaver, I know that we've had you on the show, but it's been years. Yeah. Tell us about yourself. Where'd you grow up, my friend?
So I'm originally East Coast. I was born in Vermont, in a town of like 300 people, and then I wound up Chicago for law school. So I went to Loyola Chicago Law School.
Good Jesuit school.
Yes. My mother was very happy. And what brought me to law is I'd worked in higher education for about 6 years and wanted to try something different. And I thought law school would be really interesting. And I didn't really know what I wanted to follow the path is. And I think the more similar to Mary Kay, similar to her path, I just became interested in sort of the law and what that means. And I did a lot of pro bono work at my firm, and I thought I could do a a much bigger difference as a judge than working in pro bono. And so.
Did you, was that during the course of the work? Because, since you came to it a little bit later after working in a different area, how long into working in the legal system do you like, maybe I should go for the bench?
So I was, it was probably about 14, 15 years before I decided to explore to see if I could become a judge. And then wound up running countywide. So.
And with that, then, you mentioned that he mentioned the best job he's ever had. Is that also your sense of the work that you do?
It is the most impactful job I've ever had. It is humbling every day. I have colleagues that I adore and trust. I get to meet all sorts of different people from the county. It's been a great experience.
I hope my mom's not listening because she always wanted me to go to law school and all the things.
It's not too late.
No, I understand that, and I understand that, and there's also night school and all these other things, and maybe it's never too late. I'm inspired by people who do go back to school, because the thing is that our legal system is basically the agreement that we have and how we're gonna bump into each other, how we're gonna navigate life in this country, right?
Yeah,
very much so.
And when the Judiciary Act was passed, it was one of George Washington's first acts. He did it so that neighbors could live in peace and resolve their disputes, because he thought that was of the most importance for the health of the nation, was to make sure that we could resolve our disputes together. And that's what we do every day.
Do you think in this environment of how we talk about the law, do you think there is a generation of, I have no handle on, because law school was always sort of the path. I have a brilliant son, and I don't say that lightly. My son just graduated from the University of Chicago on a full ride, top of his class. Wow. And I asked him about going to law school because I am my mother's daughter. And he said, he was actually on the air. I said, someone asked him if he would go to law school. He goes, well, that sounds unpleasant. and
law school is unpleasant. I'm not going to say it's not, but the practice of law is wonderful.
Right. It's just the 3 years to get there.
Yes.
And so do you think, though, we have a generation of people who in this, because this has never happened before, the way we talk about the law is very unique. Can we say it that way in our time and moment in history?
Yeah, I think that's really fair. I think it's okay for us to acknowledge that there are attacks on the judiciary and on the rule of law. Mm-hmm. And I think that inspires us to be at our best on the bench, even more ever than before.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine.
Yeah.
Because I know people that I haven't talked to in a long time who are lawyers. I just started thinking about this the other day, who were working previously at the federal level, and I haven't talked to them. And I just feel like there are ways people can use the law to manipulate it. Right. And to drive things. And so I'm grateful for people like you who are dedicated to the Constitution, to making sure people are heard. Isn't that what it comes down to?
I think that's the most important job we have as judges, is to make sure everybody's heard. And so and regardless of the side, you need to allow those people to be heard. And I think even I've seen in where I've been practicing, even if I rule against that person, I've been thanked because, you listened, Judge. Thanks so much. You took the time, you took the extra minutes or so. But it was the first time that I think they felt that they were heard in this dispute with whatever they were involved in. And so I think that's a major role that we have as judges.
And that's carved in our Supreme Court in Latin. And I don't know the Latin, but it's Audi.
You don't speak Latin?
Alter
well, I say we revoke your judgeship. I don't even know. Robes off.
We went to the Jesuit school, but it's, Audi, alter partem, hear the other side.
Okay.
That's the motto of the Supreme Court of Illinois, yeah.
I was friends with Greg Adamski. I don't know if you're familiar with the name, Greg Adamski.
Sure. Well-known lawyer, yeah.
Yeah, Greg was, so full disclosure, and weird, and so sorry, but my brother was murdered by John Gacy. And so by an odd turn of events, when I was a radio host somewhere else, I was introduced to Karen Conti and Greg Adamski, not knowing who they were, and eventually through the course of our conversations through other people, they were like, I think you should know who they are. And I was fascinated by why they had taken the case. And Greg's was that he was against the death penalty.
Yeah.
And so I got to know him and learn about his career. He was a fascinating human being. And when he passed away, one of the things they talked about was his proficiency in Latin. So I actually have a book on my shelf that I've never opened, but I bought a book of Latin, how to practice Latin. Do you know Latin better?
No.
Worse. Worse?
So I think that's a really great illustration of what the law is.
Yeah.
Everyone deserves their time in court. Everyone deserves representation. you get representation and decision making without fear or favor.
Yep.
And it's an awful example, but it's really
the wildest one.
An important one, yeah.
Yeah, well, and that was the thing was I knew before I talked to them. I waited 6 months before I approached them and told them who I was. And my mom and I had a conversation about how their job and what their vision was and why they did what they did was separate from who they were. You know what I mean? It didn't define them. Right. And they had a purpose behind it. Somebody had to.
We take an oath to the Constitution, and the Constitution applies to us all.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work if we're not impartial and if lawyers aren't willing to do their job.
Yeah, it was. He was a magnificent man. I don't know if you've ever had the pleasure of meeting him. He was great.
I have a random memory of Adamski and Conti, and that they had kind of elaborate parties that were themed.
Yes, always.
Yes, and there was I remember reading it in the law bulletin that he was wheeled in on a gurney
for one of his birthdays.
Yes.
Yeah. Like so he was
sort of silliness. Yeah.
Yeah, they were wild. They were super, super fun. We are in studio with the Grand Marshals for the Cook County LGBT judges have been named Grand Marshals of the 55th Annual Chicago Pride Parade right here in Chicago. We're super excited to have them in studio. Joining me, Cook County Circuit Court judges Mary C. Marubio and Mike Weaver. No middle initial, and that's your problem, not mine.
His middle initial is W.
His W.
He's Michael Wesley Weaver.
Oh, look at that.
How do you not know that?
How do you know that?
We're getting questions that you can't answer. Let me take a break here. And continue our conversation with the Grand Marshals of the 55th Annual Chicago Pride Parade, which we are, by the way, float number 64. So are you guys get to be in the front?
We're number 6, girl.
You're number 6? All right, then fine. Who's in front of you? Who gets to be in front of the Marshals?
I think Yvette and Mona, and then Tracy Bain. We've got some other people.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There's some co-Grand Marshals.
Fine. Yeah. Well, we get to have you in studio, so there. Yeah. More in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150, and KTNF AM 950. Thank you for tuning in on all our digital platforms. We're happy to have you.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
No detours, no distractions. Just bold ideas and real talk. This is Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Yeah, we're driving home, and thankfully, I'm not actually driving because my brain is Swiss cheese after my 4th hour of doing radio today. Lady B, I thought I heard radio silence, so I was like, oh, I'll push a button, and then there was a lot of sound. So it was all me. Lady B's looking around like, what? It was me. It was me, Lady B. It was me. And, partly because I'm super excited to have my guests in studio. Cook County LGBT judges named Grand Marshals of the 55th Annual Chicago Pride Parade. Joining me in studio are Judge Mary C. Marubio and Judge Mike W. Weaver. See, and now I remember Wesley. That's a good name. Long before the Harry Potter name. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah. I like it. All right, so you guys have been named the Grand Marshals. Tell us a little bit about the organization that has named you the Marshals that you represent, that you work with.
Sure. The Alliance of Illinois Judges was founded in 2009 by 15 LGBTQ judges. It was a struggle to get that many queer judges on the bench. We started with Tom Kiola and eked our way up through Sebastian Patti and Nancy Katz, and then boom, 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 got up to 15. And they formed this organization to do a few things, to provide mentorship in the community, to be a voice for the community within the court system, and to make sure that LGBTQ judges were treated the same as their heteronormative peers.
Do we have a history on judges who after they were on the bench said, by the way, I'm queer? And
yes,
I would imagine.
Yeah,
right?
People have come out more comfortably after they've been elected. I think there is a fear in some sub-circuits in some areas of the county to not be able to run as an out person. And yeah, that has definitely happened. I'm not naming them, of course, because that would be awful.
No, but I mean, even a history of it, going back and the unrecognized, those who had to live in silence. And I think that,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm sometimes clumsy with these conversations. I mean, not this one in particular, all of them.
Me too. I would say we have revealed many prior LGBTQ judges before the organization was founded. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be so. I mean, to know what freedom is supposed to be, what it's supposed to look like, what the letter of the law says, and to have people fundamentally work against that your entire life and then still stand up for others is remarkable.
It's for me, I wouldn't be a judge without this organization.
Okay.
I had a lot of support when I was running for associate judge. Those queer judges helped me. They helped me get on what's called the short list. They helped me campaign, and they have brought up dozens of judges since then. I mean, we started as 15 LGBTQ judges. We've had over 42 judges come through the system now since then. And in general, the organization has 200 members. That's retired judges, that's active judges, and it's a huge number of our allies who are judges who joined us.
And Judge, do you know like how many? This is the entire association of Illinois judges that have been named to be the Grand Marshals. So how many judges are going to be in the parade?
So we have space for 100, but I think we have about 80 coming.
Yeah. So
What?
and it includes spouses and family. So it's going to be really nice. It's not just going to be the judges.
Have you been in the parade? Have you been in the parade before? Have you ever rid a float or?
We have marched every year since our founding.
Okay.
I was telling Michael Wesley that the first year I marched in 2016, there were only 6 of us that showed up. And then in 2019, we got about 50, and we started to really open it up to our allies, and we've been consistently at about 50. So this year we have a trolley for our retired judges can sit in air-conditioned comfort.
And they can do this. Make sure that they do this. Make sure they do the Queen Wave, yes.
I'll be doing that without the trolleys.
You're right. I can't wait to see you.
That comes naturally to our members.
I love it.
I said it.
That's so funny. And again, so the members of the AIG represent the intersection of identity, service, and justice. And so, I mean, it is important for representation. I mean, you know, even like, look, I'm Irish and Mexican, and look, my whole life, if I had known that Wonder Woman was similarly Irish and Mexican, like for Linda Carter, I mean, like it matters, right? To know like that somebody reflects who you. Yeah, she's Scottish,
she's
Irish.
practically you.
I mean, it's amazing. I have not met her. I was very sad about that, the DNC. But like knowing, like I loved her regardless. But like knowing that, she, like growing up, there was somebody who was like me was important.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Right, and so to be a symbol to young people that this pursuit of career and profession is important too.
Right. Well, as Mary Kay said, I mean, one of the reasons why I felt comfortable running and felt comfortable running out is because of the judges who were before me. That I knew I could do it. People have won elections, and it wouldn't be a hindrance to me, or at least I thought that when I ran. And so it's really an honor now to sort of be on that other side as a judge, and especially in the Pride Parade as Grand Marshal to sort of represent sort of everybody to see that we're out, and then you can do that as well.
And so you are toward the front of the parade, which is
pretty close.
Number 6. I mean, it's much better than 64. So, but I know where to find you because we get there early.
Right.
I come.
We'll be there.
So do you know, like, are you riding, like, they often have Grand Marshals, like, on the back of a classic car. Do we know what we're riding? What's the setup for you guys?
It's a pretty sexy trolley.
So you're on the trolley with the retired judges? Or
I mean, we're going to be in front, and we've got some pretty good swag. We're going to be handing out copies of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution.
Yes.
Stamped with our logo. And
nerds all the way.
100%. And we have some really great signage and T-shirts. Our signs say, hate overruled, pride sustained.
That's fantastic.
Good judge.
I love that. Well, for people who cling to like saying things about the founding fathers, by the way, the other day it struck me that the founding fathers were not American citizens. That's just something that, because they were, they were the British Crown. They were, at any rate,
mind blown.
But also, I mean, like, people seem to take liberty with the language and not realize that it applies to everybody.
Sure.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
That's one example, right? Equal protection of the law.
Yeah.
We've obviously come a long way in the evolution of that case law and what that means for everyone, for all of the people in our community. 250th anniversary of the founding of our country. We don't have a lot of copies of the Declaration of Independence, so if you want one, you got to find
Nicolas
us early.
Cage. Just find Nick Cage. He's got that stuff.
He's got his is from the gift shop. This is a small pocket-sized one that you're going to really want.
Yeah. I used to, I did a fundraiser recently, and the comic in front of me, Joe Kilgallen, made a joke about the Constitution. And I was like, finally, because the audience he's like, you didn't expect the comic to have a joke about the Constitution, did you? So I came out and I said, actually, all comics are required to have a joke about the Constitution. I said, for example, everyone knows the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, no one's like, no quartering of soldiers. and also, I contend that because it was so hot during the Constitutional Convention, I mean, they were going through a heat wave, but to have secrecy, they bolted all the windows closed. They were wearing wool. I said maybe the Second Amendment was just the right to wear short sleeves. And see, I like people that appreciate it. I've been waiting to tell that joke on stage since the 90s. I just want you to know. It was the first time it didn't get a moan. Oh.
Better late than never.
Do you have any good law jokes? Do you have any? Your Honor, you're like not.
I said we were in your lovely green room with copies of The Onion, and I said to Mike, I don't want you to make any jokes tonight. If I hear you say knock knock, I'm walking out of the studio.
Go ahead. Yeah, knock knock jokes. I'll do that.
I don't have. We don't.
Right,
we didn't
fine.
come prepared.
Okay. No, I'm just teasing you. I hate when someone asks me to tell a joke unless I have it like off the top of my head. I just had that because I was excited.
If you have me back, I'm going to prep differently. I'll tell you that.
I'll have you back. I think the door was always open to Michael Wesley Weaver. Now I'll throw him by Wesley. It's very distracting for me.
Too many W's.
I have so many questions for you, but I'm like, I don't think I should ask that on the air. I remember there being a record store involved in your life.
Oh, yeah.
And you still have,
8 years, November.
Because I was like, I don't know if things change. Might be a sore spot. Maybe bankruptcy, fire. I don't know.
Still interning there as a judge.
So tell folks about the records. Is it okay? Did I just separate that? I don't know what the rules are. I'll look it up. Are you allowed to talk about the record store?
He can say that what his spouse does for a living.
Okay,
How's that?
I don't know.
So my husband, he was a teacher administrator for 20 years and decided to retire. And he said, I want to open up a record store. And I was very supportive. And I said, no way.
You're out of your mind.
Yes, that's basically what I said. And then he came with a business plan. And so we opened it back in 2018. And we've been going for 8 years, called Rattleback Records in Andersonville.
Excellent.
And we expanded during COVID. I won't say what store. It was the record store, the liquor store, and another store will remain nameless that did very well during COVID.
Okay.
And so it's been great. And so I come in every couple Saturdays to help out.
Excellent. And is that part of your self-care, by the way?
Very much so.
I was wondering.
Because I serve in our domestic violence division.
Yeah.
And so it's a tough room.
Yeah. And
so the record store is great because it's just a full release. People are there just to listen to music and talk about music, and that's one of the things that I love. And I'm just the intern.
And Judge Marubio, do you have anything that helps you with your self-care and managing everything that you have to go through?
I do. I have a couple creative outlets. I'm married to an artist. She's a singer-songwriter, and recently in the last 4 or 5 years got into puppetry, and we always have some art project going on in our house. I don't know what I'm going to walk into. There's currently a life-size Minotaur puppet in our foyer that
as you should have.
Scares the heck out of me every time I walk in. I try to spend time with family and decompress, and it's critical to do the job well.
Yeah.
Well, and I know Sunday will be filled with a lot of joy. I want to welcome you both back again, and you don't have to bring any jokes. That was just random.
No, I'm going to though.
Oh, wait, fine.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a tight 5 minutes.
In Latin. We'll stop at the Laugh Factory after we finish the parade route. We'll go back to the Laugh Factory and get you some time. Thank you so much. The Cook County LGBT judges who have been named Grand Marshals of the 55th Annual Chicago Pride Parade, and it's been a pleasure having Cook County Circuit Court judges Mary C. Marubio and Michael Wesley Weaver. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Lady B, we are going to bring up right now an interview I recorded with John Fugelsang after this break. Lady B, I love you. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much.
Hey, Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
I'm super excited about our next guest, and I say this with so much love. He's a lot of person to introduce. Every time I want to introduce him, I'm like, what do I include? So this time, I thought I would do a lot of it because he's been murdered on CSI. He's been picketed by the Westboro Baptist Church, which is, by the way, the best Yelp review ever. He got a performance out of him. He's debated Jerry Falwell and David Duke, which has got to be, I don't even know how you have those conversations. He hosts.
Not well.
He's the host of Tell Me Everything every day on SiriusXM, the son of a former Catholic nun and a Franciscan brother who wrote the New York Times bestseller. I know he's in the middle of writing another book, and we'll talk about that too, but he's got the greatest title ever, Separation of Church and Hate, a sane person's guide to taking back the Bible from fundamentalist fascists and flock fleecing frauds, which I feel like it's heavy on all of those things. He's too liberal for Christians, is all I know. John.
Oh, dear.
Hi, John. How are you doing?
Matt McNeil, you look so different and attractive now. My God, I mean, you were always an attractive gentleman, Matt. But whoa, what's happened? Hello, Patti Vasquez. Thank you for inviting me to your takeover. It's a pleasure to see you.
It is the takeover. You know what's funny? I was trying to figure out the layout of the show, and I had Free Speech TV on this morning. I'm like, oh, I know that guy. I wonder what he's up to.
When I was on Stephanie Miller several days ago this morning, yes, it feels like a long time ago.
Was that so what they do is they run repeats of, I never know what's live and what's pre-recorded.
Oh, that was live. That was live. I wasn't very live, but the show was live. I've been on this book deadline, and I was up all night writing, and a hologram of me appeared on Stephanie to tell dirty jokes this morning. I have no idea what it said. I was hallucinating the whole time.
You were fantastic, and I said, let's bring some of that energy to this show as well.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm tired. I was up all night. Like I've been loading large amounts of algae from my pockets into the National Reflecting Pool, and doing it to get around all those cameras and all those cops. It's tiring. It really is to not be seen.
Yeah. I mean, how many box cutters does it take to put a 350-foot slit? And by the way, the idea...
It's only 300-foot slit. Trump said a 300-foot slit. I remember that because that was my wife's punk band in college. That was the same name, so that's how I knew that. Yeah, only 300. Yeah.
Yeah, I apologize. I don't want to overestimate the size of the slit.
This was going to be beautiful. This was going to be the best pool anyone has ever reflected in. How much is this costing us at this point? It's way more than $14 million, right? Like
we're at $16 million was the last I had seen.
14. It was $1 million, then $2 million, then the grift came in, and man baby's getting a taste. So then it was 14. Can I tell you, Patti Vasquez, for $3 million, I personally, for $3 million, could fill that entire thing with Evian water and rent 2 live dolphins. I can still do that. I am available.
Oh, I kind of need to have dolphins in the reflecting.
Only $3 million. I can deliver all of this. I don't know why they won't call me, but I
have
guess.
a lot of faith in. Well, because we got to pay the National Guard to be there enforcing. And what I love is that they have this video.
You have a aquatic algae Antifa. You got to be careful out there. I mean, like. There's a shadowy team of left-wing aquatic terrorists who snuck into one of the most heavily monitored public spaces in our capital to sabotage a pond. These are strange times, Patti. Not the Congress, not the White House, not the Pentagon. No, they came for the fountain. These people don't believe in climate science, and we have to believe in aquatic Antifa at this point. It's just...
But I thought about this the other day because so much happened so quickly that here's the thing. They believed they were going to get a refund check for Doge. They believed they were going to get a refund check for tariffs. But so now...
Wait, who's they? Who's they exactly?
MAGA. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, they believe a lot of things, yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm saying. And now they believe we have big buckets of algae just wandering around the reflecting pool. Is insane.
Yeah. They're finally on to us, I mean, George Soros creeped in there while Hunter Biden distracted the cops to sabotage a pond. We're deploying phosphorus at this point. Like, I don't understand this, Patti. Have you been on my SiriusXM show? I began the week saying, I'm not going to talk about this. It's a non-story. There's people dying out there. But at this point, every day, the reflecting pool has had more treatments than Wayne Newton's face. I mean, the algae knows something. The algae knows what a lot of corrupt politicians know. If you wait long enough, they'll just start blaming somebody else. And now, saboteurs to create algae. Like I was saying on Stephanie, this is like Rorschach from Watchmen, The city's afraid of me. I've seen its true face. The accumulated filth of all their sex and murder will foam up above their waists. And I'll look down and whisper, you know what this city needs? More algae. Like this is... If you're a duck, we must seem crazy, right, Pat? The ducks are like, this was water before. What are you doing? Now they're killing ducks. Yep. You know this? They are killing the ducks. They're killing the ducks. And I mean, like, he's a duck killer. The algae came back. The paint peeled. The pool has to be drained again. And Trump just says, look what the Vandals did. Like, the rest of the world is laughing at us. And I think they're right, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I don't even know where we are in the news cycle. Weren't we on the precipice of a deal with Iran? That's not even
the Iran deal. Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah, yes. We haven't. What it was going to happen. I mean, how do we not lock into the fact that this, in large part, I mean, it is about the grift. We know that. It's market manipulation. And yet these people are so dead set. They believe him so thoroughly that no matter what he does.
Because he's made their lives so much better, you see, because he hates who they hate. But yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, and so now this is a distraction from the Iran war, which was a distraction from the Epstein files. Although I will say, and it's going to upset some of your liberals, if Donald Trump is just pretending to have dementia just to sabotage J.D. Vance in these meetings with the Iranians, kind of respect Donald Trump for it. Honestly, Patty, I would shake the man's hand. If he's just doing this just to humiliate J.D. Vance on the other side of the globe, because every administration has a spokesman, but J.D. Vance is the designated crash test dummy, and they are sending this guy out to meet with the Iranians, and while he's in the meeting, Trump is coming out and saying, we're going to kill them all, and the Iranians get up and walk out on J.D. It's beautiful. It's porn for the angels. And in the midst of all of this, everyone's like, where's Marco Rubio? Where is the Secretary of State? And you know where he is. He's in the basement sewing a mission accomplished banner for Donald Trump. So they're all working. They're all pitching in.
Oh, yeah, they definitely are. And here's the thing, not just even talking about it. Have we heard anything since that claim? Because the last I saw was J.D. Vance talking about, like, waxing poetic about Nixon and how... Yes. Oh, if Nixon was doing that now, he'd totally get away with it.
He's actually right, by the way. He's actually right. If Nixon had Fox News, he never would have resigned. He would have slammed the door in Barry Goldwater's face.
Yeah, he had a very good point about that. But basically saying, because we're getting away with a lot worse, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly right. I will always give J.D. Vance credit when he tells the truth about how mendacious and dishonest J.D. Vance is. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this guy, he's just like every horrible child that vanished on the Wonka chocolate factory tour fused into one mediocre eyeliner model. Do you know what I'm saying, this guy? This guy, every time I see him, he always looks like he just stole Pee Wee Herman's bike. You know what I'm saying, Pat? I know you are, but what am I? J.D. Vance is like every side effect of Ambien happening all at once.
Oh,
you know, and
I'm a little bit, I have to be honest with you, I don't like the word triggered. As long as we're having this intimate conversation that no one else is listeing to.
Yes, let's be so intimate.
Yeah, I can't tell you.
What are you wearing, Penny? Sorry, I'm so sorry. Wrong show. Go on.
Denim with a baseball. I was very traumatized by the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
It's a great film.
Oh my God, Augustus Gloop, and that chocolate pound. I mean, like, for someone who loved chocolate so much, I was afraid of falling. And then the girl, the blueberry girl, like, what?
Violet.
Here's the thing: I never knew what happened to them after. Like, as in a four-year-old,
they were all fused into one mediocre novelist from Ohio. That's what happened to all of them. I keep telling you, all the petulance, all the selfishness, all the brattiness, fused into one doughy eyeliner model who wrote a book for a party that doesn't read books.
But didn't we find out that J.D. Vance is basically hijacking somebody else's work, basically mimics the same artwork on the book, the same sort of tone?
Yeah, I don't blame him for that. That was just AI. No, I don't. He didn't do the cover design. Look, let's be fair. I'm sure he didn't write his book, and I bet he hasn't read it. But it was the book company, his publisher, that picked the cover art. I can't blame. As fun as it is to blame J.D. Vance for things unfairly, because he shows us how to do that, I can't blame him for any of this. I mean, he's having a good week because J.D. Vance, being a lying racist, he helped become vice president by spreading this evil racist lie about innocent Haitians who were invited to this country, 350,000 of them, after their country was hit by the earthquake and their president was assassinated. It is not safe in Haiti, as you know right now. It's a beautiful country. I did stand up for the U.S. troops there after the earthquake years ago. Some of the most beautiful spiritual people I've ever met, majority Christian nation. J.D. Vance spread an evil lie that they were kidnapping and eating pets. And this was proven to be a lie by the Republican governor, the Republican mayor, the chief of police, the Wall Street Journal, even the lady who first reported her pets missing. Later said she found her cat in the basement. And J.D. Vance defended it on CNN. He said, if I have to make these stories up to get the media to pay attention to the things that real Americans care. So he admits he is a liar. And I can't wait for his children to grow up and learn their father is a racist to brown-skinned immigrants. That's going to be a happy day. But he got what he wanted this week. We invited these Haitian people to come here and stay alive and not have their children raped. Right now, our own State Department says that Haiti is not safe for Americans to visit. There's an extreme, you can't go visit Haiti because our own Department of State says it's not safe to go there. And this White House has been trying to deport families there. 350, they want to send little girls back to this place and children. And these folks have lived in our country for years now, and they're working, they're paying taxes, they're raising their kids. These racists who have never met these people have wanted to persecute them, to drive them away. Donald Trump spread the racist lie as well. 8 years after the racist lie that the first black president wasn't one of us, it was the stupid racist lie that Haitians were eating pets. And Joe Biden gave them the temporary status. And in April, a bipartisan group in the House stepped in And 10 Republicans defied Trump to protect these 350,000 Haitians. It was crazy. It was like Christians actually doing a Jesus thing. They opened up a book called American Values, and they were like, wait, we used to do this? And 10 Republicans crossed the aisle. 10 to defy Trump. Patty, that's like 10 cats forming a union. And it's not because they're good people. It's because they're looking at their own local economies. These Haitian folks have now taken so many jobs in healthcare where I'm sure they're not paid enough. But it turns out if you deport hundreds of thousands of people who are staffing your hospitals, it's not just racist cruelty. You get a staffing crisis that's really bad for public health and really bad for your economy. So, they had to keep them. The racists are furious. The Haitians are working and they're keeping the healthcare system afloat. And yesterday, John Roberts Supreme Court said, go ahead and deport them all. We don't have to. We don't care that it's not safe. We don't care that it's not safe to go back. We don't care that they're propping up our hospitals. Go ahead and send them back to die. And that's what the Supreme Court did yesterday.
And what did you think about the exchange, the verbal? Usually they don't have those remarks in the from the
Look
bench.
how mad Alito got because Elena Kagan quoted Donald Trump's exact racist words. She didn't call him racist. Elena Kagan, God bless her, she went back and she read into the official record all of Donald Trump's racist crap he said about our Haitian brothers and sisters. And she said why she did it, because they were all being dishonest about what this was really about. And she wanted the record to reflect that Donald Trump is a godless racist who has been lying and doesn't really hold back because we don't punish people in power for overtly racist garbage anymore. So they're going to try and send him back. And they're going to still claim they're Christian.
Oh, do you ever wonder how the three justices who have to sit there and take all of this and watch the injustices, like how they, what their self-care must be? I mean, or is it just bourbon and cigars, like just trying to just huffing and drinking through this?
I mean, seriously, like whatever we have to do to make it easier for any Supreme Court justices who ride the 6 train. But yeah, I mean, these 3 women are holding it up, and we have to remember these 6 unelected, the Dirty 6, the John Roberts aristocratic clique. They don't represent American people. Of these 6 justices that keep saying, oh, Donald Trump should have immunity from any crimes he commits. Of these 6 justices with all their loathsome rulings, they'll all go down in history for their selfishness and their service to the aristocrats. But of the 6, 5 of them were appointed to the court by presidents who lost the popular vote. 5 of them were appointed by presidents the majority of Americans rejected. The majority of Americans rejected Bush and Trump. And yet they got 5 judges on there. And the 6th was appointed by Bush's dad, who opposed the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Those are the Dirty 6, and who appointed them.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
Welcome back to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
And joining me right now, I'm so thrilled that he hung around. And it's good to see your face, John, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you.
To hear your voice. The author of Separation of Church and Hate, A Sane Person's Guide to Taking Back the Bible from Fundamentalists, Fascists, and Flock-Fleecing Frauds. I know he's in the middle of writing his next, not even the middle, like where are you in the process?
I just sent the draft in to Simon & Schuster less than an hour ago. I haven't slept in about 12 days and haven't bathed in longer, Patty. It's good to see you.
I can smell you from here. It's fantastic.
Indeed.
You do very well. Yeah. Okay. So the first book is a guide, right? For people who want to have these arguments, they want to feel like they've got the tool belt to come back at people who try to use Christianity as
it's a guide for believers and atheists, for anybody of any background, any religion, anyone who's ever going to have to deal with one of these Christian nationalists or fundamentalists at their job or their school or their local government or, your social media feed. And it's all about how even if you're atheist, if you're debating a Christian nationalist on most of the issues that divide us, Jesus is probably on your side, even if you don't believe in him as a literal thing. Modern conservative Christianity does not fight for anything Jesus talked about. Let me say that again. Modern conservative Christianity has been groomed and brainwashed for generations to fight for things that Jesus never mentioned and to vote against and oppose everything Jesus actually commands and teaches. Conservative Christianity today does not fight for Jesus or the Lord. They don't fight against Satan. They don't care about religious freedom. They care about conservative Christian control over society. That's it. So you don't need to believe in Jesus as literal fact to use his teachings against these frauds, because Jesus is the most threatening to authority figure that's ever existed. Whether he's real or not, his teachings are as threatening to authoritarians now as they were 2,000 years ago. He was totally anti-hierarchy. And if you're walking around claiming that you're better than other groups of people because you believe in Jesus so much, then, bro, you don't even believe in Jesus, because his whole thing was about humility and service. And the last shall be first, and go into the margins. And the way you treat the lowest is how you treat him. The dude was not about total right-wing domination of the school board. So this was just a very irreverent guy. There's lots of good books about Jesus. They don't have enough dirty jokes, and I tried to fill in the gaps, Patty.
What do you think cuts through, though? Is there cutting through, really? Because
there's cutting through.
Is there? What do you recommend for folks? Because for me, I want to shake somebody by their shirt collar and go, "Listen, you nibrat," and I don't think that's a way to
Oh, no, we're not going to get through them. Look, it's not your job to deprogram a zealot. Okay. You can come at these MAGA folks with all the Jesus teachings and the Constitution and all the facts about Donald Trump, and they won't care. He had cops beaten on the Capitol steps for a lie. These MAGA friends and loved ones are beyond reason. They are beyond morality. They are beyond the New Testament and the Constitution. They are a cult of blind, unmanly obedience, and it's all self-serving. The whole clique, it's all narcissism. It's all just me, me, me. It's the opposite of Jesus in every way you possibly can be. But again, their Christianity is the manger, the miracles, and the cross, not the 3 years this brown-skinned homeless Jew spent teaching, talking, and actually saying what we'd have to do to earn the label, a Christian nation. They just care about power. And that's why they were willing to pimp out every teaching of Jesus in exchange for judicial appointments from a guy who is the opposite of everything Jesus tells you to do.
And I know it's been a long road for you to get to the point where you had publishers who wanted to get this book out there, right?
And of course, 13 years. I had 13 years of rejection for this book. 13 years I pitched this and was told, oh, there's no audience for it. Wait, it's for believers and atheists together? What? I had an editor tell me, oh, I don't have to deal with these fundamentalist Christians. I don't know these people, and none of my friends do either. And I was like, what? And finally, after 13 years, it was really nice to have the book hit the New York Times bestseller list for 2 straight months. So, folks, if you have a project in your desk or something, please finish it. If you have a script you want to write or a painting you want to finish, please don't leave your creative projects forever. Get back and wrap them up. But the book was very well received. I get a much more pious level of death threat now from right-wing people. Wow. But the fact is, this entire movement, all this Trumpism exists because of fake Christianity. It exists because of this scheme that's existed for 1,700 years, where you run for office using Jesus, using Christianity, talking about it a lot of churchy talk, sacred sounding words like sacred, right? You use Jesus to get power. Then in power, you do the opposite of everything Jesus says. And if someone points this out, you scream persecution. That's the formula, Patty. For 1,700 years, ever since Rome took over the startup and took over the whole operation of a guy they executed, this has been the pattern. This is fake Christianity. This is the Nazis. This is the Confederacy. This is the Crusades. They use Jesus. They don't follow him, because the actual teachings of this guy, whether he's real or not, are kryptonite to authoritarian systems of government. That's why there is no Christian argument for Trump. Ask anyone, ask your cousin, give me one teaching of Jesus, chapter and verse, that Donald Trump fought for. And you'll find out pretty quickly how little your cousin actually knows the Bible. It's a prop.
It really is. And so I'm assuming that getting another book published was not quite as challenging. I mean, writing it is something.
The first time I went to Simon & Schuster, I was like in a room with 3 people pitching my book. And then when I went for the second one, I was in a room with like 15 people. So yeah, I could tell that things I could tell they liked my book. But the next one's going to get me in even more trouble, because it's all about fake Christians. It's a history of revoltingly fake Christians. I think we're calling it Fake Christians, a biblically correct guide to breaking the grip of holy hypocrites, gospel grifters, and theocratic thugs. And it goes back to the beginning of this whole history and how to spot the patterns from Constantine and the Roman Empire, through the Crusades, through the Spanish Inquisition, through slavery, through Hitler, through the Confederacy, through the capitalists, through segregation, how these frauds always run the same con on these conservative white Christian folks. And when I say fake Christian, I don't mean to apply to people. I just use it to apply to religious and political and media leaders.
Well, John, congratulations on getting it off to your publishers, to your editor. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're so kind, Patty. You are so brilliant, and you inspire me so much. Thanks for all you do.
That was extraordinary. It was always great. And I know that you give a lot of your time to other hosts, and I don't want to be greedy. I've asked you to be on regularly, but I hear you on everyone's show. I'm like, I can't make it be my show too. So thank you for doing this.
I will do anything for you. Patti Vasquez, last year when Chicago was a war zone and National Guard troopers had to fly in just to save innocent people, Patti Vasquez walked through this Fury Road hellscape to help me out with a show in Chicago. So I will always, at Zanies, so I will always be in your debt.
Yeah, at any time, my friend. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Driving It Home. Love you, Lady B.